What's going on, you propagandizing pricks? Welcome back to my internal infernal turmoil where we all laugh at this backwards clown world that we live in. This week in London there's been protests that have turned violent.
Beating out a battle cry for change. A demand on the streets of London for a far more radical solution to climate change.
What's ironic about this whole situation is the fact that this was done by environmental activists, trying to raise awareness for climate change and global warming, all causes that I can get behind, by vandalising the surrounding area and blocking off parts of the city centre. It's beyond me why these middle class, well-educated people are making themselves out to be violent tossers.
I'm doing this on behalf of the planet, of life, my niece and nephew especially, who I cannot look in the face anymore and know that I've done nothing.
You're vandalising the building and scaring quite a lot of people who work here.
That scaring is commensurate to the damage that has been done to the planet. This action is commensurate to its people. We're not scaring anybody, we're not threatening anybody, we're taking non-violent direct action on behalf of life.
Are you willing to be arrested for your actions today?
I'm willing to go to jail for my actions. What else can we do at this point in time? If not us, who? If not when? If not now, when?
And don't be mistaken, they were violent and people did get arrested. I don't actually think it's a bad thing to talk about the environment and what we can do in the future to protect our planet, but this is not the way to do it, believe it or not. Destroying the environment to save the environment is not a solution. And do you not find it a bit weird that in the West we are so devout to save our planet, to control climate change? Meanwhile, the number one source for pollution in the entire world is China, because the majority of CO2 is coming from the East and not the West. And you can make an argument that the United States isn't much better than China. For example, just look at the amount of smog in cities like LA. But are we forgetting that just 10 rivers carry 90% of plastic pollution to the ocean? And oh look, they are overwhelmingly rivers in the East. Which is what I don't understand about these people, because I look at these people and I see guilt. I see these people feeling guilty for the way that they've treated the planet, when in reality they're a snowflake in a blizzard that is 90% less dangerous than the one on the other side of the world. As entertaining as reading through all these articles might be, I don't think it'll make for great content, so instead I will leave links and citations to these pieces in the description, just in case anybody thinks that I'm taking anything out of context. So first things first, we're going to be looking at this heap of shit. Thousands of people have blocked off well-known landmarks including Waterloo Bridge in central London, bringing widespread disruption to the capital in a climate rebellion that organisers say could last several days. Parents and their children joined scientists, teachers, long-term environmentalists and other protesters, both young and old, to occupy major junctions and demand urgent action over the escalating ecological crisis. The protests are a part of a global campaign organised by the British climate group Extinction Rebellion, with demonstrations planned in 80 cities across 33 countries in the coming days. The group is calling on the UK government to reduce carbon emissions to zero by 2025. That's not going to happen. And establish a citizens' assembly to devise an emergency plan of action to tackle climate breakdown and biodiversity loss. Thing is, it's not actually for a bad cause, and you shouldn't take what these people say with a grain of salt, because a lot of what they say is true. It's just the way that they're actually going about changing things. Like, smashing shop windows is not going to save anything. I can't believe I have to even spell that out. However, as darkness fell on Waterloo Bridge on Monday night, police moved and began arresting protesters still blocking the crossing. A spokesperson for Extinction Rebellion said that there were several hundred people still occupying the bridge, adding that morale was high. Well, it's that group mentality, and a cheer went up every time someone was taken away by the police. The arrests came after the Metropolitan Police issued an order under Section 14 of the Public Order Act, which allows conditions to be imposed on public processions and public assemblies. The order restricted the protesters in the area around the Marble Arch. A police officer on the bridge said that the Met could impose limits on the assembly if they felt that there was a serious risk of disruption or to the public order. Obviously, sitting down on the Waterloo Bridge is a serious disruption of the community, Police mingled more or less freely with the crowd around several gazebos, potted plants and trees and a mobile stage that was hosting a choir. They're taking people incredibly slowly, said one protest organiser. It could take all night. At about 10 PM, police became anxious when several dozen more people arrived to reinforce the numbers on the bridge. By midnight, there had been around 50 arrests linked to the climate protests. Look, if you want to go out there, camp on the streets, don't wash or shave, cause some, anarchy, get arrested by the police, that's up to you. you can fucking go ahead. Me, personally, if I was gonna do anything like this, which I wouldn't because I'm an introvert and I've not left the house in 3 days, but I would do it peacefully and I'd be careful not to disrupt people just trying to live their lives. But how are you gonna make an omelette without breaking a few eggs? Mate, it's metaphorical. We're breaking the windows to break the eggs to make the omelette. Even Mr. Let's Cut Stop and Search and subsequently raised London's murder rate higher than New York's is wary about how fast everything is escalating. In a piece by the Independent, Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, voiced his support for the demonstration but warned, "You don't want to inadvertently cause problems with our public transport," which is what we are going to be encouraging people to use when we face a climate emergency. Now, I'm not a fan of Sadiq Khan, but I can agree with him there. No cars, clean air, happy vibes, what a lovely protest. Should be like this every day, wrote one on Twitter. Yeah, because fuck being productive, fuck going to work, fuck making any progress in the West. Why bother even trying to compete with countries like China? We don't even need a horse in this race. We can just stop being. That's right, for the price of one life, you can save the environment. All you need to do is find the tallest building in the city and jump off it. Moving on to more cancerous news outlets. We've got one from Sky News here, and they were able to get a comment on one of the people arrested on suspicion of criminal damage. When Sky News asked her if it was worth it, she said, "Oh god, it was. I just want to protect the future for our children and wildlife. Shell our criminals." And again, I don't doubt the intentions of these people, I just think they're misguided. And if somebody can actually sit them down and talk to them and try to help them understand what they are doing is not worth it, then maybe we can change a few minds. But until then, if we just keep belittling these people and making them feel small and insignificant, they are going to rise up and they are going to cause some shit. I mean, I can point and laugh and joke about how all these unwashed people on the streets are causing problems. There's nothing wrong with trying to make light of a dark situation. That's historically what British people have done. But I'd be lying if I said that these people have no point. I mean, it's obvious that there is a reason for what they're doing, and I don't think there's any harm in listening to those reasons. Which is why if you've disagreed with anything in this video, you can comment down below and I'll try and get back to you. I know it's kind of a lot to ask in a YouTube comment section, but if we could keep it civil, you know. It's all well and good to have some good old-fashioned shit slinging every now and then, but I do actually want to understand what leads somebody to do this, what leads many people to do this. Because to be honest, this channel is partly just me figuring shit out in my head, trying to develop more solid stances on what I believe. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, give it a dislike if you didn't enjoy it, and let me know why. But the music has just faded out, so that's my signal to say subscribe, and I'll maybe see you later, and take it easy.